Well, viewers, there's a loose wire, and I don't ordinarily show me, but here we are. Oh, it's windy. I've sorted it, but I've got another wrinkle in my arse, which from the Patrick O'Brien book you'll know that when you've learned something you get another wrinkle in your arse. I haven't looked yet to check, but I think it is there. So here's the story as quickly as I can of the charging problems with the Rover. And it's got a brand new alternator on. It's the second alternator I've bought. And you'll see that it just has a plug in the back, a white nylon one, but no other one going into it, which that brown one was on the other alternator. Because you probably know, but alternators come in two sorts: machine sensed, which is this one, and battery sensed, which was the old one. And I connected it up not knowing about that. Battery sensed, which meant the alternator got 12 volts going to it all the time, and they got hot and flattened the battery, which I had to throw away, although I got one. It's windy. And I found out also that unless the ignition light comes on the dash, it's not just there for amusement, it's actually part of the system, it's resistance. And unless these type of alternators, and I think perhaps the battery sensed as well, don't have that resistance, they won't charge. And yet I drove the car to Birmingham and back in the daytime, so those batteries are pretty good. So the car will start and you can drive long distances, 500 miles, and yet it was just the battery that was powering the ignition system on the car, so I was lucky. It wouldn't have happened in the night time. I would have been stranded. So if you get an 18 ACR, which is this one, make sure that you don't have the battery sense in, and also make sure that when you put that white plastic plug in, that the little wire gets pushed in, because it wasn't. I was pushing it in and I thought it was connected, but it wasn't. And once I'd got that properly connected, and I've had this alternator to pieces and had I have put this morning in a new voltage regulator and diode pack because I didn't know if I'd damaged them. It's working fine, and it's giving 14 volts at the battery. Also, when I installed the charger, the alternator the other day, there's a little bush in one of the mountings down there. I was showing off to my grandson, look at Grandad, he's doing this, and I hadn't tightened it up properly. And when I took it off this morning, it was nearly falling off, because there's a bush at the bottom that gets pushed along. Anyway, it's tight now and the belt's fine. It's giving 14 volts at the battery. So if you change one of these alternators for an 18 ACR, which is what it should have, I think, they're not battery sensed, so that wire has to be taped up. That's the beginning of it. I'll put it somewhere. And when you put that white plug in, you have to make sure that the little wire furthest towards the wing, that is making proper contact. Otherwise, although the engine will start and appear okay, the ignition light won't come on. It's got no chance. So I might get rid of that. So there we are. I put a new starter relay up there. Let's have a look at the damage. I've got the Hankook battery there. I've got, that's the new UARSA which they gave me, very good. I've got another Hankook somewhere else. I've got another alternator that's nothing wrong with it, just in the shed there. The X19's running fine. X19's running well, but I haven't been able to take it out of the garage because the Rover's been blocking the drive. In fact, somebody offered to buy the Rover the other day, and I started to think. So there we go, in a nutshell. You've got to have that red light working on the dash. It's part of the system, not just some indicator that things are working. It actually puts resistance into the coil so that it will work, into the alternator so that it will work. Just because that plug was in doesn't mean that all the white nylon, just because that was in firm, and took quite a bit of effort to get it out, didn't mean that all the wires were in. So there we go. I've got the oil pressure light to do, but that's a simple thing. So there we go. And the wiring diagrams were what put me wrong, because the wiring diagrams in the books and everything are just for other cars back in the olden days when people drove Rovers or rode on dinosaurs. So they're no real use. Mark Gray helped me, and a local fella who worked for Lucas, he told me, is the red light on? I said, no. I said, well, it won't work without that. So he was really good. He works at Carline Coaches, Roseline Coaches. So there we go, a worried man, and it's going, so I've got the brand new battery, I'll take it for a drive a bit later. I've ordered some cigars, some Italian little cigars like Clint Eastwood used to smoke. One look at the, you have to have your wits about me, but I don't have any wits, so there we go. Poor old David, but I think I've sorted it. And if I'd taken it to an auto electrician, for an alternator and a battery and all the rest of it, it would have cost a lot of money, and I have done it myself, but nearly gone out of my mind. All the best to Linda and Chris and Reg and Alan and the two Nigels and AA Prod and the channel seems to be going quite well, and Reg in Australia, and oh dear, there we go, wiring. And if I've missed out your name, I'm sorry. And the fella in Brazil, I don't know your name, but there we go. All the best to you from a wrinkled date. The old date's got another wrinkle in it. All the best. Bye bye.